You know, you have one guy over there.
Hmm?
All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here, will you, please?
Me?
Get him out of here. Throw him out.
Just hanging around?
Get him the hell out of here. Get him out of here. Get out. Get him out of here.
What's up, guys? Spenny. A titular character in the ongoing Epstein saga is Virginia Roberts, who worked for Epstein for nearly 20 years. She was sex trafficked to Prince Andrew. The royal family settled out of court for tens of millions of pounds. Here she is with Ghislaine Maxwell, who was doing the trafficking. Virginia Roberts broke and told the story to the media, exposing Jeffrey Epstein and his sick operation, saying that she's not suicidal. And if something happens to me, for the sake of my family, do not let this go away. Help me protect them. Too many evil people want to see me quieted, says Virginia Roberts, just a few years before she's hit by a bus in the Australian outback, one of the most rural places on earth, then posts from the hospital that she only has days to live, and then a few days later is killed. Her own family saying that they don't believe that she committed suicide, mainly because she says, "I'm not suicidal," and posts like this. In the ongoing embroiling of the Epstein controversy and crisis, it would have been very nice to have such an outspoken witness to all of the crimes be available for questioning, but Virginia Roberts was, in her own words, quieted. She says, "Don't stop speaking about me." And somebody very powerful just did. President Trump. And he's changed the narrative forever by saying that Virginia Roberts, also goes by Virginia Giuffre, worked at Mar-a-Lago and that Jeffrey Epstein recruited her from the Mar-a-Lago spa. What is happening here? This is all new information, something that we didn't know about the Virginia Roberts story. What we did know about the Virginia Roberts story is that this wouldn't be the first time that Virginia Roberts was quieted, and we'll play you the Trump clip here. It's astonishing, President Trump going into why he banned Jeffrey Epstein and destroyed their relationship. Virginia Roberts has been trying to speak out, I guess, from beyond the grave. This famous video from Project Veritas, one of the most well-known anchors in the history of ABC News, saying she had the Virginia Roberts story all wrapped up.
And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything.
And they wouldn't let her put it on air. You've seen the clip. They stopped her from going to air with the Virginia Roberts story. They shut it down. Same person who shut down this story, by the way, produced the January 6th trials in the House for Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. Did you know that? Interesting little trivia there. Do you know who else said that Bill Clinton has a lot of problems with Jeffrey Epstein? Well, it was a young man who was starting his political career. His name's Donald Trump.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
This is in the year 2015. Nobody was even talking about that. Nobody even knew who the hell Jeffrey Epstein was. President Trump was starting his political career by attacking the pedophile elite.
Raised the question of Jeffrey Epstein in your remarks about in the Q&A.
Well, I think he's got a problem. I mean,
what do you think the problem will be?
I don't know, but that island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew. He'll tell you about it. The island was an absolute cesspool. So.
Oh, really? Prince Andrew, huh? This Prince Andrew? Did Donald Trump know Virginia Roberts right here? Is she going to call out from the grave and talk more about what's going on? President Trump says Epstein stole Virginia Roberts. She went by both names, Giuffre and Robert. And several other young female Mar-a-Lago spa workers. This is what President Trump has just said. We'll listen in just a moment. Virginia Roberts was 16 years old when she was recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell from the spa at Mar-a-Lago to work for Epstein. This is crazy. Oh, wow. President Donald Trump on Tuesday charged that Jeffrey Epstein stole Virginia Roberts and several other young female workers from Mar-a-Lago spa, leading to their fallout. She worked at the spa, Trump noted. And he added that Epstein stole her. Trump told the Daily Mail that he fell out with Epstein because the financier kept poaching and creeping on many underage Mar-a-Lago staff. This is well reported that he was banned from Mar-a-Lago for this by President Trump. Of course, a zero tolerance policy here. But now he offered more details about what happened to the two men. Everybody knows that people were taken, says President Trump on Air Force One, as he's giving an answer to reporters. Here is the answer. It's audio only. They do this sometimes on Air Force One. And the president is speaking really candidly.
We think pretty soon. Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. I'm just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
Were some of them
young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young women?
What did they do? In the spa.
In the spa?
Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, does that include Virginia Jeffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
Virginia Giuffre, or Virginia Roberts, she goes by both names. Virginia Roberts Giuffre, actually, is what the Daily Mail calls her here, was 16 years old when she was recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell. Here we go. Giuffre says she was recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell to Epstein's sex ring in 2000, the year 2000, when she was 16 years old and working as a locker room attendant at the spa in Mar-a-Lago. Before her death earlier this year, Giuffre was one of the most prominent and vocal accusers of Epstein and Maxwell. Trump noted that Giuffre had nothing bad to say about working at the Palm Beach Club. She has no complaints, none whatsoever. He pointed out Trump banned Epstein from his Mar-a-Lago club. Before that time, both Epstein and Maxwell were photographed partying. These photographs, of course, are well documented, part of the op. The president has offered a variety of reasons for his disassociation with Epstein, who died in a New York prison awaiting trial for sex trafficking charges. He previously said he cut off contact with Epstein because it was a creep. Other reports say the two men fell out over an oceanfront Palm Beach property. Each man wanted it. Virginia Roberts claimed she was passed around as a teenager to rich and powerful predators. She died in April by suicide. Okay. Let's ask a simple question here. Virginia Roberts had so many interviews, and she regularly interviewed in corporate media and on corporate media. She had some dirt on Donald Trump. Wouldn't she have said it? Wouldn't she have told people about Donald Trump? I mean, obviously, this was the time, this is the time to do. She had ample opportunity. But instead, she talked about Bill Clinton, and she talked about Prince Andrew, and she sued, and she won. Donald Trump, on the other hand, according to the prosecutor who put Epstein in prison, said that Trump was the only person who ever picked up the phone and was helpful in the prosecution of Jeffrey Epstein. So it's a wild moment, ladies and gentlemen. Just a fascinating moment and brand new news to us. Obviously, this matches with what we've heard before from authors like James Patterson.
That I would put in the book, and I wouldn't put anything in the book that I didn't, 100% believe in. And I was on a plane at one point, and the woman sitting next to me, it turned out she ran the spa at Mar-a-Lago. And I said, did you ever run into Jeffrey Epstein there? She said, oh, yes. She said he wasn't a member, but he would come. And she said he was inappropriate with the young girls. And she said, I went to Mr. Trump, and Mr. Trump banned him that day.
Isn't that the same thing? This is James Patterson, is one of the most respected authors in America. Isn't this like, he's a member at Mar-a-Lago, too. So that matches what President Trump is saying right now. Absolute bombshell stuff. Kevin Spacey obviously has talked about the problems with Bill Clinton and Epstein. Donald Trump is on a tear. He's constantly talking about Bill Clinton and Epstein. It seems like they have a lot more to hide than anyone else. Donald Trump's being very forthright. And J.D. Vance launching a truth bomb here yesterday to sort of seal the deal and talk about, the new framing, I would suppose, from the administration on this. And it's welcome. For 4 years under Joe Biden's DOJ, he didn't give a damn about the Epstein files. 20 years, Obama, Bush. These are the DOJs that actually went easy on Jeffrey Epstein. Perfect. Pitch perfect framing here by J.D. Vance. Here you go.
I guess I'm going to be that person. There are some protesters outside accusing the GOP of protecting pedophiles, and we're wondering what you think are the reasons the U.S. government should shield the client list of Epstein from the public, and what you have to say about any relevance to that here today.
Well, let me say just a couple of things. First of all, the president has been very clear. We're not shielding anything. The president has directed the attorney general to release all credible information and, frankly, to go and find additional credible information related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. He's been incredibly transparent about that stuff, but some of that stuff takes time. You've got to assemble that stuff. You've got to compile that stuff. You've got to redact some victims' names so that you protect the victims. But the president has been very clear. He wants full transparency. He's asked that from the attorney general, and I know, because I talk to her all the time, the attorney general is hard at work on that issue right now. But I think I got to make an observation that there's an interesting thing about this case that the American media seems to totally ignore. For 4 years under Joe Biden's Department of Justice, the media didn't give a damn about the Epstein files or about the Epstein case. For literally 20 years, the story about this scumbag, and he is a scumbag pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, he's dead now, but for 20 years, you had Obama and George W. Bush's Department of Justice go easy on this guy. They didn't fully investigate the case. They didn't show any curiosity about the case. And now Donald J. Trump is asking his Department of Justice to show full transparency. And somehow that's a criticism of Donald J. Trump and not Barack Obama and George W. Bush. If you want to criticize the people who aren't showing full transparency, you ought to go after the administrations that went easy on Jeffrey Epstein, the administrations that concealed this case for 20 years, and the administrations that failed to show full transparency. Donald J. Trump, I'm telling you, he's got nothing to hide. His administration has got nothing to hide, and that's why he's been an advocate for full transparency in this case. He's going to keep on being an advocate for full transparency, but while we're focused on that case, Donald J. Trump is also worried about making sure these great workers get more take-home pay and better jobs, and that's the focus of the administration. Thank you.